Zombie Apocalypse for Kids. 4 Teenagers on a Dangerous Journey. Kids Adventure Stories. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. In this apocalypse story, you will find out what happened when a small group of young survivors combines forces and tries to fight off the hordes of zombies coming at them. Flashbacks of the pre-apocalypse era bring variety to the story, and the start of a new civilization is the goal of these heroic tough guys and girls. Read an action-packed diary about the struggles of some members of a former destroyed society who are on their way to rebuild everything from the beginning. A new beginning. Chapter 1. Misery. Dear Diary. No, that's not how I should start. I'm a tough dude, for crying out loud. Let's start over, because it may be a diary, but that doesn't mean I have to sound like a wimp. These are hard times. So let's put it in a way that will get the adrenaline in your blood going. Look, we had just barely arrived at the stupid barn, but as soon as we got there, the zombies were already pounding at the doors. They just wouldn't go away. A constant howling, gnashing of teeth, and wailing were heard. Their noises were rending the air, as it were, and the reeking odor of dead corpses entered our senses each day we fled. There were hundreds of them, thousands of them. I lost count of how many I already killed. 2 of my friends were keeping score, though. I think one of them already reached number 843 or something. It was a cool hobby, if you ask me. Something to keep them busy and help them focus on other things. Not me, though. Such trivial activities didn't occupy my mind. I was only obsessed with one thing, finding civilization. I just knew there were others out there like us, others who had survived the disaster and were now waiting for a rescue, or were building up their society the way it used to be. But listen to me rambling about this or that. I'm sure you get the picture. We were stuck in a barn, surrounded by zombies, thinking that we would be safe, but finding out that quite the opposite was true. Let me introduce myself and my team to you. There were 4 of us. First, there was me. My name is Michael. I am 15 years old. I had been fighting zombies for a whole year, and it was almost as if I did nothing else in life. Of course, I was just a student when the whole thing came crumbling down on us, and panic arose, but that's another story. Let me assure you that my favorite weapon was a golden sword. Don't ask me how I found it. I just did. And besides, that too is another story. Then there was Armin. He was 14. He still had a hard time adjusting to the situation, and he showed off all the time because his hormones went up and down all day. The fact that there were 2 girls and 2 guys made him go a little crazy sometimes, and he definitely liked the brunette. Either way, they flirted back and forth all the time, which put me and the other girl in an awkward position. Armin's favorite weapon was an iron axe. He got it from a barn just like this one, and he never parted with it since. The third member of our little made-up team was Caitlin. She was only 13 years old, and had just finished high school when the zombies attacked. Her brown hair and blue eyes made her a target for many flirtatious guys in school, and the fact that she had been a cheerleader all that time made it worse. All she ever talked about was makeup, hair, clothes, and nails. She wore short skirts and tight shirts all day, and I doubt that she ever got good grades in school because I've seen her handwriting and spelling. Awful. Like I said, she flirted a lot with Armin, the only guy in the vicinity that would show interest in her, but I often wondered if she was really into him or if she just liked the attention. By the way, she often used a stone shovel to defend herself. Sometimes I caught her throwing a bottle of perfume or nail polish remover in a zombie's face. 10 points for creativity, every time. The last one in our group was Lola. In my eyes, she was a lot smarter than the brunette, and contrary to the popular opinion about her hair color, this blonde was a bright, strong survivor. With her iron pickaxe, she would bust the heads of countless zombies and pull out her weapon within seconds each time, as if she had been fighting all her life. It was always a pleasure to watch her from the corner of my eyes. especially when her hips swung one way and her arms the other. It was just amazing how well, anyway, I'm daydreaming here. Lola was 14 and she had a cute face, but she didn't put a lot of effort into beautifying herself. She was in survival mode, and she just had a way to get things done quickly, working on solutions and quick ideas to get us to the next place. So there we were, discussing what to do and where to go. It was a dilemma, because we thought we had lost them, and now we had to move again. "How far is the village?" Lola asked. "If I'm correct, it should be about 10 minutes from here," I said. "Let's go then," she said. "But how?" Armin asked. "Through here," she said, pointing to a crack in the back of the barn. "Do you think there are any zombies there?" Caitlin asked. "I don't know," Lola admitted, "but I hear sounds from all sides of the barn. All the doors are being smothered, while it seems like that opening may actually help us sneak out. It's our only chance." We all agreed that it would be the best way to get out of there, so we rushed towards the crack. It was at the bottom, so we had to lie on our stomachs and crawl through it. Lola was the first one. She lay flat on her stomach and started crawling through. We all waited, and then we heard a whisper. "Guys, it's safe. Just keep quiet and follow me." I went second. I crawled through and safely made it outside. There I noticed Lola hiding in the bushes and signaling with one hand to go to her. Armin went after me and soon joined us in the bushes, away from the barn with zombies. Caitlin was the last one to crawl through, but when she stuck her head through the crack, a zombie appeared and yelled in her face. Caitlin quickly pulled back and screamed, "Ah!" "She didn't make it," I said, burying my face in my hand. "Well, don't just stand there, let's go get her," Lola said. She rushed towards the barn and smashed the zombie in the head with her pickaxe. His screech alarmed the zombies on the other side, who came running at us within seconds. Lola helped Caitlin crawl through while the two of us were fending off a few zombies with our weapons. Let's go, I shouted. We all ran as fast as we could. I noticed immediately who was out of shape and who wasn't, because there I was, running and observing Lola's backside, who was way ahead of all of us, sprinting her lungs out and reaching the village long before we did. Impressive. What a woman. Caitlin kept up with me, but it was sad to see that Armin, the one who showed off so much, couldn't really back up his mouth by running fast. He fell behind, though still ahead of the zombies, and I actually cracked a smile when I saw him panting heavily and arriving late. Oh, eesh. "Hey guys, what's the hurry?" Armin said. "It's not like those zombies are the fastest on the planet or something." "Shh," Lola said. "There may be zombies in this town too. I say we head for the church tower. A lot of those towers have hatches that lock. If we can make it there, the zombies will eventually give up, or we can descend with this rope from my backpack and slide down via the roof." "That sounds like an excellent idea," I said. No sooner said than done. We tiptoed to the church and went inside. No zombies. Good. Our next move was to climb the stairs to the bell tower and hide there. We even found some food hidden in one of the rooms in that building. When we arrived, it was beginning to get dark. We closed the hatch and all fell asleep. It had been a long day. Chapter 2. Where It Began. It was all a big accident. At least that's what we heard. Not too far from one of the bigger villages in the miners' country, there was an experimental lab. I didn't think our scientific research had advanced this far yet, since we all lived under relatively primitive circumstances. But apparently, they knew how to create inexplicable substances. One of those substances was the Y412, a chemical green slush that was supposed to cure patients from certain diseases. Instead, it did the opposite. When they tested it on rats, it didn't seem to do anything. So the biggest mistake they made was assuming that it would be harmless for humans, too. And then it happened. The man lying down on the bed was injected with the Y412. Immediately, he arose and attacked one of the scientists. The patient jumped at him and started choking him while the others were kicking and punching him, trying to prevent a murder. But this made it worse. It stirred the aggression in the patient's brain. He became even more wild and ferocious than before. His nails turned into claws and his teeth into fangs within seconds. As the drool from his mouth hit the floor, the newly bred monster attacked the other scientists as well, biting and scratching every one of them. Before they knew it, they were all the same. It only took seconds before they turned into zombies themselves and began wrecking the place. They broke out and terrorized the village the scientific center was at. There was a soldier there, Benjamin, a retired hero who heard of the outbreak. He didn't hesitate and grabbed his silver sword. Then he stormed out of his house and opened his mouth in awe. Dozens of zombies were quickly running through the streets, breaking homes and biting victims along the way. He had never seen anything like this. "Let's fight back," Benjamin yelled. "Fight back! We cannot let them take the village!" He banged his sword on the doors of those who were still unaware of the situation. The civilians slowly came out and looked at the ongoing chaos. "Get your weapons!" Benjamin shouted. "Let's kill these guys!" Some of the villagers grabbed pitchforks and shovels. Others armed their children and wives with hammers and knives, but most of them ran away in fear. "Come on!" Benjamin shouted as he stabbed one of the zombies in the stomach. "We can win this!" He stabbed and yelled and slashed. He fought back with all his might, but the zombies were becoming too numerous. They were growing exponentially. They were dashing through windows and turning everyone in their way into zombies. Panic was everywhere. "We can beat these monsters!" Benjamin kept shouting. "We can beat—" Thud! Some zombie punched him in the face. It knocked him out and left him there, being stepped on by various zombies, but allowing him to remain human. Who knows what happened after that? I heard it didn't take long before the whole town turned into zombies and dead people. From there, the disease spread across the country. This was the beginning. Chapter 3: The Note. I woke up by the sound of snoring. Armin was lying on his back and sounded like a saw cutting through a log. It wasn't the best way to wake up, but I noticed the sun rose anyway, so it made sense to start looking around. Lola was covered up with a blanket, and so was Caitlin. They were so tired from the day before that they kept sleeping, despite the incoming rays from the sun. I just sat there for an hour. I was going to leave them there because I knew they needed it. Besides, I enjoyed watching Lola sleep. She was so pretty. I wondered if she even knew that I was so impressed by her. Probably not. Caitlin woke up. "Where am I?" she asked. "We're in a church tower," I answered. "We're safe here. No zombies." I guess the word zombies woke Lola up, because she instantly rose from her sleeping position and reached for her weapon. "Zombies? Where?" she said. "Don't worry," I said. "We locked the hatch, remember?" "Oh yeah," she said as she rubbed her eyes and yawned. "So what is the plan?" "We should look for any clues to find a colony of survivors," I said. "There is only so much we can do by ourselves, but if we join others, we can withstand all the zombies." "Well, how about waking up this sleepyhead?" Lola said, pointing at the snoring Armin. "Sure," I said. "Hey, Armin, time to wake up." No response. "Armin!" I yelled. "Wake up! It's time to wake up!" Nothing. "I can poke him with my pickaxe," Lola said. "Amateurs," Caitlin commented. "Let me show you how it's done." She leaned over and softly whispered something in his ear. It seemed to penetrate through his brain immediately, because his eyes opened and he stood up, looking at Caitlin with big eyes. "What?" he asked. "Oh, nothing," Caitlin said. "What did you tell him?" Lola and I inquired. "Don't worry about it. Isn't the most important thing that he is up?" she said. "I guess so," I said. Armin was trying to get his hair straight. "What now?" he asked. Let's go downstairs, I suggested. We'll search the homes for any indication that people left and gathered somewhere. We can't stay here for long. We need to find others. After carefully opening the hatch, we went down the stairs and searched the church. Luckily, we didn't have to look anywhere else, because on one of the benches there was a note that read, "Meet us at Utopia. Turn left at the Elephant Rock." When I picked it up, we all stared at it for a while. "Dude, that's awesome," Armin said. "Where is Elephant Rock?" Caitlin asked. "It's on the other side of the country," Lola said, a little disappointed. "It's not that awesome. All we have is a note and some vague directions. And it's far. It will take at least a few days to walk there if I'm not mistaken." "But it's a chance," I said. "Before this, we had nothing. Now, we have a goal." Chapter 4. Journey Across the Country. We took the note and looked for other supplies. None of the zombies in the area were alarmed by our sneaking around the village. Fortunately, they were all gone or hiding from the light. Something that I had been seeing before was that the zombies seldom came out during the day. They were immune to light, and sometimes they did appear in the daytime, but most of them hated the light. They stayed in the shadows until the sun would set. This would give us time to load up on stuff, so we did. We found food, water, and blankets, and we packed everything that was useful. Then we left town. On our way to the supposed colony that we hoped would exist. The plains were dangerous. If there would be any zombies there, they would have seen us by that time, but there weren't. I was just hoping none of them would be smart enough to take a peek there. And since there was nothing else to do, Armin got into bragging mode, like always. "You know, Caitlin," he said, "it's good we came back for you, or you would have been bitten and turned into a zombie." "Yeah, that would have been awful," Caitlin admitted. "Thank you for rescuing me." "Of course, if you had gone first, then one of us would have been in danger. It was just a coincidence," Lola said. "Still," Caitlin said, "Armin was brave to come back." "No, he wasn't," I said. "He just came back because Lola told us to go back." "But I would have gone anyway, whether she said it or not," Armin insisted. "Sure," I said. "I still think you should be thanking Lola instead of Armin, Caitlin." After that, it was silent. We all sensed it. Caitlin was just looking for a reason to flirt with Armin, and Armin was just bragging again, even though he was the last to arrive in the village because of his slow pace. Lola and I exchanged looks. It was kind of like teaming up against the weirdos in the group or something. By having two people to make fun of, it was as if we connected better. We both smiled and shook our heads. "So where did you get that golden blade?" Lola asked. "Well, let me tell you," I started. Chapter 5. Survival Stories. This is the story of how I found the golden sword. The simple truth is, I had been looking for a weapon for days after the outbreak. My parents tried to defend me, telling me to hide in the basement when the zombies attacked. When the noises had disappeared, I came out of my hiding place and discovered an empty house. After all that time, I still didn't know what had happened to them. Perhaps they had turned into zombies, or perhaps they had just died. Nevertheless, I still had a vague hope of finding them in the colony, which was why I was so motivated to find it. I really hoped my parents were still alive somewhere. Anyway, I climbed out of that basement and found the entire village to be empty. I knew there were zombies lurking beneath the corners of the homes, so I hurried to a nearby castle. The castle was owned by some rich lord who had settled in this village, and some of the townspeople had worked at this place to make a living. I knew that if I wanted to find a valuable weapon somewhere, it was going to be in that building. When I came there, corpses were all over the floor. It was terrible. The sight of it was horrifying, and I think I even got a little nauseous when I saw them. I stepped over them and entered the castle. The bridge was wide open, and so was the gate. I looked around and tried to determine where the best place would be to find a weapon to defend myself. I went downstairs and looked some more until I found the armory. Racks with axes, spears, and bows were leaning against the walls, making my dream come true. "Oh, nice," I said, when I picked up an axe with ornaments and a shiny surface. I put it down and looked for the perfect weapon to wield. I was going to be very picky, because I knew I couldn't take all of them with me. But then I heard something. The door opened up and a creepy zombie stood in front of me. It was the first time I had seen a zombie. It was a terrifying experience. I have to admit that I wasn't entirely prepared for this. It was a female, and the flesh on her face and arms was hanging loose. It was super gross, and it was the least attractive image of a woman I would ever see, and now it was out to kill me. She came right at me. "Krah!" she screamed, holding her arms and claws in my direction. She knocked me over. I fell backwards. The female zombie was on top of me, trying to bite me, but then I managed to get my feet up and push her in the stomach away from me so that she would fall backwards. Before I could blink my eyes, I saw a blade from the armory impale her. She had fallen onto it and had now become a dead zombie, if that isn't a paradox. I stood up and brushed off the dust from my body. Then I looked at the weapon that had killed my assailant. It was a golden sword. It was beautiful. I didn't know why I hadn't noticed this blade earlier, but now that I had, I fell in love with it. It would become my main weapon, especially since it had accidentally saved my life. I put the sheath on my back and looked like a real warrior. I practiced pulling it out and putting it back in for a few minutes and went outside. And then I saw her, the complete opposite from the monstrous beast I had just destroyed. The elegant girl standing in front of me was the ultimate beauty. Her long blonde hair was waving in the wind, and she was leaning on one hip with a pickaxe in her hand, dripping with blood. She looked at me, and I knew at that moment that the extreme ugliness I had witnessed in the castle was hell before heaven. Wow! Could there be any creature on the face of the planet who looked more gorgeous than this girl? "My name is Lola," she calmly said. "Nice sword. Where did you get it?" "At the armory," I said. "There are more weapons if you want any." "I'm good," she said. "Thanks, though. I have just become pretty good with this pickaxe, and I'm starting to like it." She looked down at a zombie that was trying to get up, moaning heavily. "I told you to stay down and die," she yelled as she thrust her pickaxe in the zombie's neck. After that, he made no more noises. I was surprised. For a girl this cute, she certainly had experience when it came to killing zombies. "You're pretty brutal," I said laughingly. "Yeah? Well, I've been doing it for a while. In case you haven't noticed, they are everywhere." "I have, actually, but I just made my first kill." She laughed a little. I wasn't certain if she was being sarcastic or friendly, but it was kind of funny. "Congratulations," she said. "Get ready to kill more of them. There is no shortage of these disgusting monsters." "Sounds about right," I said. "By the way, where are you going? If you want, we could travel together." "Sure," she said. "But you better not get in my way. And if you turn into a zombie, I won't hesitate to chop your head off. Nothing personal." "Oh, I understand. Well, I am trying to find a colony of survivors." "Good idea," she said. "You never know if somebody else might be out there." And that's the moment the other two showed up. "Oh my, did you just kill those zombies?" Caitlin asked when she walked towards us. "Some of them, yes," was Lola's answer. Are you guys warriors?" Caitlin asked. "I've been training a lot since the outbreak," Lola said, "but he just got his first kill." "Nice," Armin said. "I started killing some yesterday. It's a thrill, and I don't even feel guilty about it." "I don't want to kill," Caitlin said. "Why is this happening?" "Well, honey, you'll have to, whether you like it or not," Lola said. "If you don't kill them, they will kill you. It's as simple as that. Here, take a shovel. Then you'll at least be able to take them out when they run at you." Reluctantly, Caitlin accepted the weapon Lola handed her. Armin stood next to her and put his arm around her shoulder. "Don't worry, girl. I will take care of you. I have an axe, and it's angry." From that moment on, I already knew our whole trip was going to be like this. And that's pretty much how we met each other. Chapter 6. Risky. Back to the plains. We were walking and walking. It took forever. We hid under a giant rock, taking turns standing guard at night. And we did the same thing the next day and the next day. We had enough water to get through these empty landscapes, but in the end we had to be frugal because our resources were running out. Eventually we saw something though, the silhouette of a village. Good, I said. Finally, maybe we can fill up on water and food there. I'm tired. I long for a bed, Caitlin said. I could tell that Armin was exhausted too by the way he was walking, but he tried to look tough and walk up straight in order to impress Caitlin. Still, he was slouching a little. It was funny. When we came to the village, it was awfully quiet. I don't like it, Lola said. Something's wrong. It's not that weird for it to be quiet, I said. We've been to many deserted villages. How is this one any different? I don't know. It's a hunch. Call it female intuition if you will, but there is something fishy going on here. Just be prepared for anything. I don't feel anything, Caitlin said. We didn't comment on that. We let it go and got our weapons ready. When we looked up, we saw it. Zombies were all gathered on the rooftops, lying in wait to attack us. They were everywhere, hundreds of them, and they all climbed up on the houses to ambush us. When they noticed that we saw them, they all jumped off immediately. It's raining zombies, I yelled. Let's get out of here, Armin shouted. To the other side of the village, hurry, Lola said. We ran and evaded zombies that were falling out of the sky. Some of them hit us a little, making us deviate from our straight course, but most of them missed. Ouch, I said when a zombie scratched me with its claws. Take that, Lola said, cutting him open like a fish. Thanks, I said. Don't mention it. Now let's keep going. We kept running. I saw Caitlin and Armin kill a few zombies behind us, and Lola was leading the way, trying to guide us through to escape this evil snare. In there, she shouted. She pointed to an airtight home with no windows and a steel door. We followed her inside and held the door shut. Check if there is any way to get in upstairs, she commanded. We went upstairs, but everything was sealed as if someone was trying to be a hermit or something. Nice house, I said. I wouldn't want to live here, though. The others agreed. We could hear the eerie sounds made by the zombies outside the door. We put a beam halfway the door just to lock it more tightly. We heard the zombies scratch and bite, but none of them could come in. How long are we going to be here? Caitlin asked. Until they leave, I said. And seeing how eager they are to get to us, that could be a long time. Chapter 7. Novelty. We sat there for hours, thinking of ways to get out of the house unnoticed to bypass the zombie horde. Even Lola sat down and rested her arms on the pickaxe. She sighed. It was hopeless, and she knew it as well as everyone else. We just stared in front of us, not saying a word. This went on for a while. Then suddenly, when it started to become dark outside, we heard another noise. Blasted zombies! You won't get away from me so easily! It was a harsh voice. It had to be a man, but we didn't know who. All we knew was that when we took a quick peek, we saw zombies being thrown up in the air and blood squirting all over the place. Let's help him out, Lola suggested. We all stood up and began fighting the zombies. When we slashed through a few of those monstrous creatures, we saw a guy with a sword. The name's Benjamin, he said. Those evil scoundrels thought they had me, but I pretended to be dead and got my revenge. Now let's get out of here before their little friends will jump off the roofs again. It was obvious that not all zombies had been hanging around the front door, and that some of them had left. This gave us the opportunity to run out of town. Do we know where we are going? I asked. I have a pretty good idea, Benjamin said. Follow me. He sprinted towards the other side of the village and showed us the rock in front of us. It was Elephant Rock. Ha! It looked exactly like an elephant. Weird. We have to turn left, Lola said. That's where they said the colony would be. Well, how do you know it's on the left side? I see a path leading to the other side, the retired soldier said. We found a piece of paper that said they would be there, Lola insisted. So we have to go left. But what if they meant a left turn coming from the other side? I asked. She scratched her head. I guessed she hadn't thought of that before. She looked to the left. There was a vast, empty desert with more rocks in sight. Then she looked to the right. Trees had popped out of the ground. There was a little creek and a path leading through the trees to an even greener area. I have decided we should go right instead, she said sheepishly. Good decision, we all agreed. We went right and looked back occasionally. The zombies were still after us. How were we going to survive this? Sooner or later they would catch up. But suddenly we saw little houses made out of wood. Villagers from the houses ran towards us and protected us. Are you okay? One of them asked. We are fine, but the zombies are chasing us, I said. When he looked, he ordered all capable men to get their weapons and march forward. I watched in awe as an army of villagers took their rakes, pitchforks, shovels, machetes, swords, and axes and beat those pathetic zombies down. Our enemies didn't stand a chance against these strong men. It was only a matter of minutes before the last zombie was slashed by a brave man from the village. It's good to have you here, one of them said as they came back. But I didn't pay much attention. I saw some familiar faces. Could it be true? No, impossible. After all that hoping and fighting and running? Mom? I said. One of the villagers turned around. It was Mom. Mom! I exclaimed. Michael, she said as she embraced me. Shortly after, my dad came towards us. I'm proud of you, boy. You have grown up a lot, and I don't just mean physically. I can tell. Thanks, Dad, I said. Caitlin and Armin had already disappeared. Maybe they found some other villagers they knew, or maybe they just ran off to kiss or something. I didn't want to know. I figured I would see them later. But Lola was still there. She looked a little jealous when she saw me hugging my parents. She was quiet. I had never seen her this shy before. Mom, Dad, I said, meet Lola. She is my friend and she saved my life. So great to meet you, my parents said, and thank you for all you've done. Oh, it was nothing, she said. Can we take her in until she finds her family? I asked. Sure, my dad said, if she wants to. Is that what you want, Lola, or do you have some better place to go? No, I don't, she said. Thank you for your hospitality. I would love to stay. It was like a dream come true. The most beautiful girl in my house. Could you imagine? Thanks, Dad, I said. No, Lola said quietly. Thank you, Michael. With those words, she kissed me on the cheek. I melted away. The end. This has been Zombie Apocalypse for Kids, for teenagers on a dangerous journey, kids' adventure stories, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins, copyright 2017 by Jeff Child, production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child.